Today, we're tackling one of the biggest time sinks in Excel, data extraction. This function lets you write one simple formula, and Excel will instantly spill an entire new table of data that perfectly matches whatever rules you set. So when your source data updates, your filtered list updates automatically. It's like setting up a secure, always-on feed of exactly the information you need. So today, we'll look at 5 use cases, and the file to follow along with will be down below in the description. So let's go ahead and dive into our first use case. So let's start with the basics. This is the most common mistake people make when they're still using the old filter buttons. You just need a list of one specific thing. So let's go ahead and hop into Excel and take a look at our example. So now that we're in Excel, let's say you have a massive sales data set and your manager asks for a simple list of all the sales only in the West region. Let's go ahead and use the filter function to find our answer. So in Excel, we're going to go into cell G3. We're going to type in equals filter, and we see our formula pop right up. And then we are going to select our array, which is our entire data set because we want to return everything. So we'll do Control Shift down, Control Shift over, and then we'll press a comma. And then our array is we want to select our West region. We are going to select column B. So Control Shift down from B3 down. And then we're going to say equals, and in quotations, we're going to type in West. And it's very important to use the quotations here because otherwise, we'll take a look here. We'll just type in West, and you can see Excel is searching for a formula. So when you put something in quotations, it's looking for those specific characters. We can do if empty, and then in quotations again, because we want this to return a specific term. We will say not found, quotations, and close our parentheses, and we'll go ahead and press enter. And boom, instantly all the data for the West region appears. No copying, no pasting. And if a new sale is logged in as a West region, it will appear automatically in our filtered list. So that was easy, but most real world problems aren't that simple. What happens when your boss asks for sales that are both in the West region and over, let's say, $3,500? Now the old filter button method gets a little bit clunky, and if you're a professional analyst, your formulas need to be able to handle complexity. The good news is that the filter function is just built for this. So we're going to use some logical operators that are essential for any advanced Excel user. So we're going to do multi-criteria filtering, and this is where we show you how professionals handle complex queries, and we're going to use 2 rules to be true at the same time. Our region is going to be West, and our revenue is going to be greater than $3,500. So to combine multiple conditions that must all be true, we use the asterisk sign in the included argument. So think of the asterisk as meaning and when dealing with logical tests in Excel. Let's go ahead and hop in Excel and we'll go ahead and take a look. So again, looking at the same data set, we are going to press equals filter, and we're going to select our entire data set once more, Control Shift right, Control Shift down, and we'll press comma. And then this time, what we're going to do is a little bit different. We're going to create our first condition. And so that's going to be in parentheses. We're going to want everything in the West region. So Control Shift down, and then equals, and in quotations, West. And then we're going to use the asterisk to signify we want this and our second condition. So we'll do parentheses again. And then we're going to want everything over $3,500. So Control Shift down. And then we're going to select greater than 3,500, close our parentheses, and we're not going to have if empty, so we'll go ahead and close again. Now we have everything that is in the West region and above $3,500. Control down just to get to the bottom of our list, and we see that our lowest value is $3,523. Just a little pro tip, let's go Control Shift up, and then we do Alt HK and make those numerical so we can see them with the commas, just a little bit easier to read. And now we have a very dynamic list of everything in the West region over $3,500. And I do want to call out, notice the parentheses around each condition. That's a best practice that just ensures Excel correctly calculates each true and false test before combining them. This formula instantly splits out a list of high value West region sales, and a financial analyst or data analyst might use this exact technique to instantly generate a list of transactions that require secondary review because they meet both the geographic and a value threshold. All right, so on our third example, let's go ahead and flip the logic a little bit. What if you need results where at least one of your conditions are true? So for example, your manager wants to see all sales made by salesperson A or all sales for product Z. When we want to combine conditions where only one of them needs to be true, we use the plus sign to include in the argument. Think of the plus sign as meaning or in this context. So let's go ahead and hop in Excel and take a look at our example once again. So what we're going to do is we do equals filter, select our same data set once more. We'll press comma, and then we'll use our parentheses. And let's go ahead and select everything. Let's change it up this time around. We're going to select our region, and we're going to press equals to, in quotations, east. Close the parentheses and add our plus button. And then in parentheses once more, let's go ahead and select a salesperson this time around. So we'll go Control Shift down, and we'll press equals, and then we'll type in Bob Smith, parentheses, parentheses to finish our equation. And let's be very clear here. This is going to include the condition of everything in the East region in addition to everything with Bob Smith. So we might see salespeople with more than Bob Smith, and we might see regions more than the East region. Let's go ahead and press enter. And excellent. So we see we have everything in the East region. And as I explained, this has every salesperson in every single category, including that. And then down at the bottom, we have a full list of everything that Bob Smith has sold. Looks like he's primarily based out of the West region, so that includes all of that data right there. This method might be critical for an operational analyst, or a supply chain analyst might use this to find all open purchase orders for supplier X, or all open orders for a specific material Y. It's all about consolidating two different problem lists into one live view. All right, in our fourth example, this is going to be what separates the power users from the average user in Excel. We're going to combine the filter function with another powerful Excel function, which is the large function. And this is going to instantly generate a list of the top 10 highest revenue sales from our entire data set. This use case is about generating an instant leaderboard or like a watch list. The trick here is to create an included condition that only returns true for the rows where the revenue is greater than or equal to the 10th largest value in the entire revenue column. So let's go ahead and hop into Excel and take a look. All right, so we're going to press equals, filter, go ahead and select the entire data set again, press comma, and then we're going to select our revenue. And this time it's going to be greater than or equals to large. And we'll go ahead and select the revenue array again, and we'll press comma, and then we're going to select 10 for the letter K, and this is just our listing here. So we'll go ahead and close that and close our function, and excellent. So you see we have a list of our top 10. We'll just double check, that looks like 10. And then we see we have our top 10 highest values, coincidentally all from the West region, but they're all consolidated very nice and organized from top down. And what's great is that this one formula gives you an instant dynamic top 10 list, and you can easily change the 10 to a 5 for a top 5 list, or use a cell reference to make it a user-controlled dashboard input. This is exactly how dashboard builders create performance leaderboards in Excel. And so if you found that combination value, hit the like button to help other people discover this advanced technique. All right, our last example is going to be crucial for building user-friendly reports in Excel. Why, you might be asking? Because you never want to force the user of your spreadsheet to edit your formulas. That's almost a guarantee for mistakes. The biggest mistake in spreadsheet design is hard coding your criteria. If you hard code West into the formula, the next person has to edit your formula, which could break the entire report. Here's our fix. We're going to build a dynamic report where the user can type the region they want to see in a single cell input. Let's say G1, and our filtered list will update automatically. So we're going to take our formula from our first example, but we're going to add a little twist with it by giving it a drop-down list. And we're simply going to replace the hard-coded text in the cell with a reference list. So let's go ahead and take a look at how to do that. All right, so back in Excel, what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy all of my regions here. Control Shift down, Control C to copy. I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste those, let's say over into column C. We'll go ahead and paste as values. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to press Alt A and then M to remove duplicates, and that will select column P automatically. And we'll go ahead and press OK. And now you see that all the duplicates were removed, and now I'm left with a nice tight list of the regions. And if you have any questions about how to remove duplicates in Excel, I have a video linked down below in the description that goes over this in further detail. So what we're going to do in cell, let's call it G1, we are going to create a data validation list where we select our list. And then our source, you can either type these out manually, or in our case, we already have a list right here. So we're going to go ahead and select our values for our regions, and we'll press OK. And now we have a very nice list with all of our regions. And so we're going to go to cell G3, we'll press equals, filter, select our entire data set, we'll press comma, and then we're going to return our region as our dynamic input, and we're going to say equals to cell G1. We'll close those, and then actually let's go ahead and place if empty here because we'll see what happens. We'll say not found, close those, and as we can see at first look, we have a not found value. However, if we change our value right here to, let's say, east, excellent. We dynamically pull all of the east data from our Excel database. Now, if I change that to, let's say, north, boom, automatically our data updates. We could do the same for south, and excellent, that just keeps on repeating. If we go back and look at our previous examples, you can do this for multiple criteria. So let's say if you want to do south, but then also select, Bob Smith as your salesperson, you can dynamically filter that depending on the values that you want to look up. And it's very important that no formulas were edited in this design. This is a professional way to create dynamic reports, and it makes your Excel sheet robust and super easy to use. So let's do a quick recap of what you just learned. You learned that the filter function is a modern way to extract data instantly and dynamically from data sets. We use the asterisk to combine rules with and logic, and we use the plus sign to combine rules with the or logic. We combined it with large to build a dynamic top leaderboard. And finally, you learned how to use cell references to build robust, user-friendly reports that will not break. The old filter button, it's a tool for sifting data. The filter function is a tool for building live professional dashboards. You can download the exact pre-built data set with all the columns we use today via the link in the description below, so you can follow along and practice immediately. And if you want to master more advanced Excel functions that save you hours every week, subscribe to the channel right now and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on the next deep dive. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.